Hello, guys, and welcome to Marketing Academy Episode 2 Lecture Presentations. My name is Juju, I'm your MCBP Marketing, and I am hoping that this time I won't have the same technical problems as I did last time. As I wrote in the description of this live stream, please, if you cannot hear me or you cannot see anything, well, then you probably won't hear this message, but still reach out to me, please, on Slack, and I can try and fix it. Cool, fantastic. This time we're going to be talking about lecture presentations. Last time we talked about info stands, so if you didn't watch that video yet, please do go back and check it out. We want everyone to watch every video. And just like we started last time, I want to differentiate quickly between online promotion and on-ground promotion. So online promotion are all the activities we're doing online, obviously, in the internet, using social media, using email marketing, lead nurturing, those kinds of things. While on-ground promotion is mostly the domain of the LCs, the local committees. We have things like info stands, things like lecture presentations, and a few other things. We'll also talk about those later on. But yeah, what we're talking about in these videos are things related to on-ground promotion. And in essence, I wanted to talk mostly about lecture presentations. I tried long and hard to find a good picture of a lecture presentation. To be completely honest, there's not a lot of pictures out there from all over the world. Here we have a picture that was taken in a VU lecture. At the front you can see Dima delivering a lecture presentation right there. And it's, I believe, in the Audimax, so in the biggest auditorium in VU. And so it must have been pretty daunting. I imagine there were at least this many people, although probably younger. And Dima there delivered a presentation, short one, presumably about 3 to 5 minutes, about what AIESEC is and all the opportunities people have with AIESEC. And for this reason, lecture presentations are a really efficient way of getting our word out there. Because if you're allowed to stand in front of a huge auditorium and talk about what we do for 3 to 5 minutes and all students have to be there, what faster way is there to deliver our message to the right target group? However, despite this, we have not been seeing a lot of success with our lecture presentations. So they're currently only making up about 8% of our opens, and this has gone down from the past. So sorry, just to be more specific there, 8% of the people who sign up on our portal say that they came from having heard about us in a lecture presentation. So our goal is to raise this number and to make sure also that because it's such an intense opportunity for new members and old members alike to have an intense public speaking experience, I think it would be fantastic if every single person in the B2C and OGX areas gets to do at least one lecture presentation. So if you are one of those people working in B2C and you've never done a lecture presentation, I think you should approach your VP and make that happen. Cool, fantastic. So just to go into a little bit more detail about lecture presentations then, same way I did the anatomy of an info stand, I'll do the anatomy of a lecture presentation for you right now. In general, here are some things that should happen before you ever set foot into a lecture presentation. First of all, make a script. So I really believe that the best way you can prepare is by making sure you write a script. And it doesn't need to be a script word for word. It can be if that is what helps you understand how to speak. And basically you want to map out what are the topics you're going to touch on in the script, right? So if you know it's going to be a lecture presentation about global volunteer, then you can really figure out, okay, I'm going to start by introducing myself. Then I'm going to move forward into what is AIESEC, etc. And the idea is that you can write the script out in words, but you should ditch the script before you go up on stage. You know, it's absolutely not a professional sign if you are up there and you're holding a piece of paper and nervously reading from it. So make a script and then practice 100 times at least. Practice with yourself in front of the mirror, practice with your teammates, practice with your VP, practice with your pets. I don't really mind how you practice, but you need to practice because only if you practice will you actually have the confidence once you go up there to not sound nervous and to really knock it out of the park and do an amazing lecture presentation. And then lastly, also figure out your visuals. So I'm not going to talk too much in this presentation about visuals, but definitely it's a factor. So make sure that if you're allowed to, and try to make sure that you're allowed to, but to have something beautiful running on the projector, whether it's a video, which we have already a template of the kind of video you can use in a lecture presentation about our programs, or maybe it's beautiful slides. We also have a template you can use here. Um, Maybe it's some other kind of description. I don't know exactly what you want to do there, but make sure your visuals work. The best way I recommend here is to bring your own laptop and see if you're allowed to plug that in, just to make sure that you don't run into any technical issues that could throw you off your game during the presentation. Then, let's say you've done those three steps ahead of time, and now it's time for a lecture presentation. So the first step, before you can do one, you need to request permission. Maybe your VP or your team leader will take you through this if you're working in OGX and marketing. You need to send out emails to all the lectures that you think could be interesting, and especially if you're doing this at the start of a semester, it's really important that you target those lectures that have lots of people in them, because that's the best way to get the word out at the start of a semester if you're trying to recruit people to go on exchange. After you receive a positive answer, go to the lecture presentation. Be early. I didn't write this here, but make sure that you arrive 5-10 minutes before time, and introduce yourself first to the professor. So go up on stage before the lecture has begun and say, "Hi, I'm the guy you spoke to from AIESEC via email. I wanted to do my presentation." And usually the professor will say, "Oh yeah, sure, of course." And he should equip you with a microphone if it's that kind of a lecture, or otherwise connect you with whatever you need. So this will also be the time of like, "Hey, can I just quickly connect my laptop? Or if not, can I use this USB and put the presentation?" In any case, you probably have agreed upon how you want to do it when you requested the permission. So just follow those steps. After you introduce yourself to the professor, it's go time. It's time for you to go up there and deliver your amazing speech that will knock everyone's socks off. But you're probably pretty nervous, and that's understandable. So the next step I'll give you is take a deep breath, or take 3 or 10. Really ground yourself in the moment and let all the nervous energy that you have inside of you, and believe me, I felt that, and let all of that convert into enthusiasm and joy and just being super pumped and excited for being allowed and able to deliver such an amazing presentation now. Then it's time to go, and you step up and you introduce yourself to the class, okay? So maybe you'll say, "Hi, my name is Juju, and I'm from the student organization AIESEC," or "Hi, um, I'm here from AIESEC, and I want to talk to you about XYZ." Whatever feels most natural to you, and you should figure this out when you're writing your script and when you're practicing 100 times. But figure out some introduction that works for you and that makes you feel confident before you speak. In general, always be polite and friendly. If everything else goes wrong, if you made a polite impression and you seemed like a friendly guy that people could connect to, um, people will still have a good memory of you, I think. And I really think if people start to, it happened for me, for example, that people were like laughing at the beginning of my presentation or not paying attention, and I would feel really tempted to say, "Excuse me, can I get your attention, please?" or something like this. So I really recommend don't go for that. Don't fall into that trap. Stay polite. And by polite, I don't mean that you need to be withdrawn or quiet or make yourself smaller than you are. Absolutely, we're the world's largest youth run organization, and we should be up there, and we should feel confident about that. But keep it friendly. Um, Also, make jokes. I really believe you can plan these jokes, and they'll still come across good. You can put them in your script at the beginning. But also, if people are seeming tired or things are just not working the way you want them to, if you make a mistake, brush it off with a joke. I think people really respect the authenticity in people if they can make jokes. And you'll also feel more comfortable and more confident if you made a joke and you got a bit of a laugh out of the people. And you can proceed on the basis of that laughter and not on the basis of the nervousness. So, really try to make jokes, try to stay funny, and um, you'll do a lot better. Cool. Then don't forget about explaining the product, of course. So after you've introduced yourself and you've established yourself on stage, explain who we are, what we do, and what are our offerings? What is the product? And for this, I recommend you work together with your VP so you make sure that you have the correct product knowledge. Also, in the coming week, I'll be delivering some webinars together with our VP OGX Mao, and he'll also explain a little bit about how we can explain the product. But make sure that the way that you explain it is not boring and that you connect with what the people in the class need. So that's really important to know your audience and to know what are their needs in life and connect how you explain the product with that. And after that, they know who you are and they know what you're trying to talk to them about, don't forget a call to action. So even though people should know what the next step will be, because most likely you've written the website on the side of your slides or it's on your flyers or whatnot, still always give a concrete call to action. It's a proven marketing rule. People need to know what is the next step that they can take if they care about what you said. And in this case, the next step is most likely either come to our next info event, which will take place on this day in this place, and you can get this benefit out of coming. Or if you don't have an info event planned, I mean, you should have some of an info event planned, but also redirect them to aiesec.org. So that is also the website that we always want our people to go to, aiesec.org, and with the call to action, apply for opportunities. So don't just go there, look around, turn off your computer, but the call to action is apply for opportunities now at aiesec.org. And obviously at the info event, if they come to your info event, the same rule applies. So that's an even better environment. At the end of it, wrap it up positively. So there's nothing worse than starting the lecture presentation, getting to the climax of it, giving the call to action, and then it's like, yep, enjoy your lecture. Or even just like, yep, that's all, thanks, and putting the mic back. Make sure you wrap up everything you said, maybe make another joke, give that call to action one last time, and then thank them for their time, back to the politeness, and give it back to the professor. In the end of the day, there's nothing better than a professor who talks positively about you. And I've had this a couple of times where professors actually after my lecture presentation would say, this is actually a really cool opportunity for you students. You should definitely check this out and get some practical experience. And this is like as if you have an influencer talking about you on social media. That's what it's like to have a professor talking about you like this in your lecture or in the lecture. And if you wrap it up positively and you thank the students for their time and also thank Mr. Professor for allowing me, it's just going to make a much better impression and raise the likelihood that he's also going to endorse the product. Cool. So this is what I was thinking about for the anatomy of a lecture presentation. Maybe there's a couple of steps missing, but yeah, this is what I was wanting to present for this. I'm just going to also give you, before we wrap it up, 5 tips for better lecture presentations. Number 1 is never do an LP, a lecture presentation, if you are not prepared. Okay? Preparation is key. Practicing 100 times is not negotiable. And the times that I did a lecture presentation without having prepared it beforehand, maybe I was late, maybe I thought I could do it without preparation, those were the times that I got lost in the middle of it, that I got nervous, that I didn't deliver the presentation I wanted to, and I regretted it afterwards. So if you are not prepared, see if you can get somebody else to do the LP who's more experienced. But better yet, don't let it come to this. So if you know you have a lecture presentation coming up on Monday, then over the weekend see how many times you can prepare it so that you feel as confident as possible. Right? Write that script out, practice with it to yourself, to other people, get some feedback, and make sure that you're prepared. This is the number one reason why people are delivering poor lecture presentations is they didn't put in the hours of preparation that were needed. Number 2, use the space. For this, I mean both in terms of time and space itself. So if you have a big stage, good speakers, you might have noticed, are the speakers who are walking around on stage. Not in a nervous way, but they're walking left and they're addressing the students on the left, and then they're turning around and they're walking over to the right side of the stage and they're addressing the students on the right. So I think it's one of the best tips in terms of public speaking in general is use the space that you're given and don't fidget, don't be nervous about that, but really command the space and walk around on it. And on the other hand, also use the time. So if you have 5 minutes and you ask the professor for 5 minutes, don't speak fast. Don't like nervousness will often get you to speak fast, and that's a trap not to fall into. So I myself am also a fast speaker, maybe you've noticed, but in these contexts, find the right places to make the dramatic pause and really take your time to deliver the message in the most memorable possible way. Number 3, know your audience. By this I mean, first of all, when you're doing research on which lectures you want to present in, make sure that you're picking those lectures that have the students in it that you are actually targeting in your LC, that you believe, according to your buyer personas, are the right students to attract to our product, right? And then when you're developing your lecture presentation, maybe you already have a script or a template prepared, but try to modify it to best fit the student body that you're speaking to. So to give an example of this, maybe you're speaking to a group of architecture students, and in that case, maybe they actually have different needs and wants than social science students. And therefore, maybe you can attract them more with other projects in the examples that you give of projects that they can do in Global Volunteer. Or maybe technical students will want to hear more about numbers of students we've sent abroad, or any other kind of statistics than than English or translation students, let's say. So really understand for your target audience, the lecture that you're going to, what is the best approach you can have so that you don't alienate them, but you're speaking their language, right? Number 4, try to enjoy it. This might sound a little bit, easier said than done maybe if it's one of your earliest lecture presentations, but it's what I was saying a little bit earlier, to take the nervous energy you have in you and turn it into enthusiastic energy. And how do you do this? There's not one solution for this, but it's something you get the hang of after you do enough lecture presentations. And it has a lot to do with just understanding that the nervousness is a natural reaction your body is giving you to an unfamiliar situation. And talking to yourself like, this is normal. This nervousness in my stomach, this is just like my body's reaction, but I'm above that. I know that what I'm about to do is actually really cool. And so I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. And once you go on stage and you radiate this enthusiasm, people are just going to take you 10 times more seriously, and that's a fact. And 5th, connected maybe to some of the other points as well, take every opportunity you can. Don't be that guy who joins AIESEC, joins the marketing area, and every time there's lecture presentations, be like, I don't really have time. Maybe somebody else can take it, blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, really try to find every chance you can get to do a lecture presentation, because every time you do it, it's going to get easier, it's going to get more fun, and you're going to get better at it. And that's lessons that are not just about AIESEC, but lessons you will take forward in life. And every time you will have public speaking opportunities, you're going to rock it, because back then you took the opportunity to do as many lecture presentations as you could. Cool. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the Onground guidelines. So if you've already been in AIESEC for a bit, maybe you know about them. We have Onground guidelines, which are a short booklet that is full of little tips like the ones I'm giving you now, related to on-ground promotion. So about info stands, about lecture presentations, flyering, stunts, those kinds of things, and how you can do better on-ground promotion in general. So a lot of what I'm talking about here, I've taken out of this booklet. So if you want to read up on it or remember the stuff I've said, go to the Onground guidelines. They are inside the knowledge database in the B2C Hustlers folder. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please ask your VP the next time that you get a chance, and make sure you get a copy of this PDF. Cool, then that's all for now. Thank you guys for joining, as last time, to show your learnings and to make sure you get certified as having taken the Marketing Academy. Make sure you answer the quiz question at this URL, go.aiesec.at/mcbquiz, and the question will be presented there. So thank you so much. And make sure, I didn't change this, but make sure you join for episode number 3 on Monday, which will not be about lecture presentations, but about a different topic. And see you then. Thank you.